Yeah, I really don't have much to talk about here. The Eagles lose this game. What was it? 24-17.
Something like that. Yeah.
We didn't play a lot of our starters specifically
You
on
did.
offense.
You only played what's his face until he got 1,000 yards.
Devonta Smith.
Yeah, he got like
was
3 or 4 catches, and they took him out of the game.
Yeah, 3 catches, 52 yards.
Apparently, they was more focused on that and rushing their players than trying to go for the number 2 seed, which they had in hand because the Lions did us a favor and beat the Chicago Bears. And Nick Sirianni made the decision earlier last week that a lot of his guys were going to rest going into the playoffs. He didn't care about the seeding.
Mm-hmm.
I, as a fan, care about the seeding. Last year, they won a Super Bowl with the number 2 seed, which means they had 2 home games. This season, they'll probably have to go on the road in week 2 if they win the first game. Not putting that passes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't agree with that decision. I wanted to go for that number 2 seed, but he's the head coach for a reason. And they falter, it's on him. So with that said, this game, outside of a couple defensive linemen, Jelix Hunt, Jordan Davis got some snaps. Outside of those guys, we pretty much didn't have a lot of starters playing, specifically in our secondary, which was awful.
Yo, oh my gosh, the amount of penalties. You guys had what? Like how many yards in penalties?
It was like 140, I want to say, just off pass interference.
I'm going to pull that up. Give me a second.
Just off pass interference, I think they had like 140 yards.
Penalties, yes. 9 penalties for 123 yards.
Ooh. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I'm looking at that right now.
I'm telling myself while watching this game, I'm like, why doesn't Josh Johnson just throw the ball down the field every play? Because they was holding them. It was holding. Now,
well, there's a reason why our OC isn't there anymore, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind, they had McLaurin. They had Debo playing. They had pretty much all their starters playing against our backups.
Everybody that was healthy played. There was nobody that wasn't healthy that did not play. So, So,
I mean, he could do the ball down the field to McLaurin every play, and either Jacorian Bennett or Keely Ringo, who made another boneheaded play in this game, just held every play. They just hold it.
Man, your fans were trolling Ringo after the game. Your fans were trolling him on social media after the game. I was just
we gave him a good Philly greeting after that one.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Keely Ringo, Josh Johnson, he's like 39 years old.
Yeah,
and he was running like Michael Vick. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
He was wrong in the tooth.
Yeah, he was running down the field like he's Michael Vick. Prime Atlanta Falcons Michael Vick.
To be fair, he barely plays, so like he is healthy enough to do that, I'm sure.
So he just ran.
Not the same wear and tear as most 39-year-olds.
The last touchdown the Commanders had, it was basically a rollout, and Keely Ringo had him in the sights at the goal line. But for some brain dead reason,
he pump faked him. He just went
do
he just did like a half shoulder pump fake, and he just turns and looks,
and then goes to the receiver in the back of the end zone, and Josh Johnson just runs in for the touchdown.
He runs in. He's like, "I'm a Mario." Woo-hoo.
It was so bad that even the commentator had to highlight it. I mean, come on, man! Like, I mean, at the end of the day, is it the most terrible loss? No, because we were playing our backups. We were using our backups. It is what it is. This was a scheduled loss at this point by Nick Sirianni. I hope it doesn't backfire, like I said, because if it does, it's going to come down on him. Mm-hmm. But with that said, though, we're going into the playoffs. Apparently, I will be the only one having a preview matchup this week, so
that makes my life easier.
Yeah, a little bit easier. So I will be talking about our matchup against the San Francisco 49ers Sunday, 4 p.m. at the Link. Wild card round. I'm confident my team in that one. I'll say that. I'll leave it at that. But this game, it was still a divisional matchup. We lost. It is what it is at this point. I can't even really get mad at it. GG's, Lucas.
GG's.
And,
look,
that's it for me.
Yeah,
play the game. Play the game.
Yeah, Jelix Hunt.
Yeah, Jerry Hunt. Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't realize that he used to play DB before he played edge. You got a special hybrid there, really.
Yeah,
edge that can drop in coverage like that on the flats. That's pretty special. Most edges cannot do that. That being said, yeah, no, good GG's, good game. Look, I don't think there's really much to brag about beating, teams second and third stringers when we were, besides our starting, offensively, we were mainly just missing our quarterback at this point. I mean, technically we've been missing Austin Eckler since week 2, but I don't really count that. Yeah, no, look, and Zach Ertz obviously, but like, I just that's a problem. That's a big problem, and that's why I think that's part of the reason. Look, I get that, and I'll talk about more about Cliff in a solo episode coming up, I'm sure, but I just want to say this. Cliff does some things really, really good, but there are flaws in his system that eventually get exposed. We saw it with Arizona, and we saw it this year too. It's pretty easy to read whenever he does like a screenplay or, the fact that unless it's a veteran quarterback, he's not going to play anybody under center. But when it does, the running game actually goes, you need to highlight guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have a terrible defense, you want to run the ball as much as possible, correct?
Yeah.
Instead of playing no huddle offense half the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Glad to balance, right? If you don't have, but and Dan Quinn talks about complementary football. Well, the system that he runs isn't complementary to the needs of the defense. The needs of the defense is for them to stay off the field as much as possible. You want to run the ball down the other team's throat as much as possible. So, look, Cliff is a good offensive mind. I think there are flaws within his system. I look, and to be fair, both Jaden and his mom, along with us, a couple other people were, championing Cliff to come back. I don't know if that was necessarily the right move or not. I don't get paid for that, but I do. We don't get paid at all, but like, no, at the end of the day, look, but you guys could help us by getting our subscribers high enough and sharing this episode enough to help us make sure that we can monetize eventually. Okay, back to the main paid, the unpaid programming here.
But keep in mind though, they parted ways. He wasn't fired.
It was a mutual parting of ways. I think Cliff has opportunities to become a head coach again. I think that he's done enough. I think hot take. I think he's going to go to Tennessee. I think him and Tennessee.
Thought you were going to say the Giants.
No. There's somebody else that I think is going to go to the Giants now, but we'll talk about him soon enough.
Yeah. He should go back to college.
Yeah, no. I was kind of hoping, honestly, that I'll talk about it more later, but I was kind of hoping that Mike McDaniel would have been fired, but that's not the case because I really wanted him as OC, but he looks like he's staying. Look, at the end of the day, we knew Joe Witt Jr. was gone. That's not surprising. That was just waiting until the end of the season. But it's actually, I said during the season that I would give Dan Quinn 2 or 3 seasons. But the fact is that a coach that's about to get on the hot seat always fires both of his coordinators before he, last his effort to fix things. And if Dan Quinn already feels like he's at this spot in year 2 after having such a successful season, if things don't turn around quickly, which I don't think is fair to him, but, because the defense is almost, I don't think Earl's defense has more talent on his team, but our defense, had the quote unquote better numbers. I don't know if that's even relatively true, to be honest.
And you got the money too.
Yeah. JT, what is it?
Dallas was 32 on defense. Y'all were 31.
Yeah, ooh. So like, look, they have more talent than we do. We have to fill more holes than they do, honestly. So yours was coaching, ours was more talent based. I think honestly, because the defense didn't improve all that much under Dan Quinn.
Glad Bruce is gone.
But look, at the end of the day, I would have been okay if Cliff stayed, but I understand why he left. He had opportunities, and there was Diana Rossini of The Athletic. Reported prior to the game, I believe, that there was, rumblings that Adam Peters and Cliff Kingsbury was not getting along, which is the opposite from what we saw in all footage prior to this. You know, axing, you know, Cliff basically making the first round pick, you know, for Josh Connerly and you know, asking about Ben Sinnott in the first draft that he was there for. So, but it seems to be, look, I don't think most of the young guys were getting a fair shot that Adam Peters was hoping that they would get, especially guys like Ben Sinnott and maybe Luke McCaffrey to an extent. So I can see it. But the thing is, you got rid of a guy that most of the offensive players, especially the quarterbacks, like. So you have to hit on this new hire. Because if it doesn't hit right away, and I already know, I hear the rumors about, oh, well, what about Brian Daboll? No. I'm gonna say no on that. I'll explain more on my next episode of DC Football 101. But the answer is no. Look, at the end of the day, it's a reset. Quinn, I get the players like Quinn, but if you can't get this right quick, and I think part of that was on the players, you know, and health. But if you don't get it quite right quick, Quinn might be on the hot seat sooner than I expected would be. Yeah. What's up, Maurice?
He has 1 year.
I think he has 1 year. Yeah. I hate to say it, but I think your guys are right. I think he has next year to prove it. And if he can't, because if you're not at least competing for a playoff,
down this year, it's high implications going into the third year.
I think you have to at least be in the wild card chase. I don't think you have to make the playoffs, but if you're in the wild card chase,
playoffs.
You think you have to make the playoffs?
Yeah. You just was in the championship game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Everybody popped out of the sewers when they realized they were in the championship game.
Wow.
And I'm not even trying to joke here. I'm legitimately serious on this.
Well, anyway,
they came up out of the shadows. And after this, they're right back into the shadows. Y'all are going to have to make the postseason to get everybody out of the shadows.
You might be right. Look, at the end of the day, we'll see. I think there's a lot of roster turnover. I'll actually, not this next episode of DC Football 101, but the one after that, I'm going to have I'm making my off-season guide. It's a 3-page Google document right now. I'm taking a page out of JT's book right now, talking about free agency, draft, all that stuff. Our current free agents. Sporadic, by the way, great website to use to know who's going to be a free agent, who's not. Just saying.
I think about maybe the top 50 free agents. I'm close to 100. So,
I think I got maybe 7 or 8 free agents that I'm we absolutely need to get these guys, and that's that.
I feel that. I feel that.
Guys, you guys got the money.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's at least two or three big names on there. So we'll see. Look, we'll see what happens. But
player of the game.
Player of the game for the Commanders. Ooh, that's a
Give
tough
it to your
one.
quarterback.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll give it to the journeyman.
Primetime Michael Vick, as
Well,
Maurice
no,
says.
I can't. He had 2
Well,
turnovers. He had 2 turnovers in this game, guys. I don't know if 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I heard a stat that he threw. It was his first touchdown pass
since 2018. No, it's his first win since 2018.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and guess who he was playing for during that win?
The Cowboys?
The Commanders.
Oh.
But the Redskins back then. Yeah, he hadn't won a game since last time he was on the Commanders. That's
going back full circle.
Bless his heart.
He's been on 18
NFL
teams.
You know what? No, I'm going to give it to Bobby Wagner. You know what? Shout out to Bobby Wagner. I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier. 3rd player in NFL history to get over 2,000 tackles.
Yeah.
Joining Ray Lewis and Redskins legend London Fletcher. So here. Yeah, goes to Bobby Wagner. Now I need you to retire so you don't take up any more roster spots, okay?
Jeez.
Love you, but I don't need
cold.
No. I love what he does. I love what he's done for the team, but we know that he's starting to slip. He's going to be another year older, and if Dan Quinn has his way, he's going to be right back starting again, and that should not be the case.
No, he should. You know what? He can come back as a linebackers coach.
Yeah, he can come. Well, yeah, because you already got Ryan Kerrigan as an assistant coach for the edges. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, Bobby Wagner, you get the player of the game. That being said, I'm done. Let's go to